Hey.
Hello.
I am mentally exhausted after that continued conversation.
I'm surprised at how cordial you stayed, not gonna lie.
Really?
I mean, not really surprised, but like I could tell that you were very upset. I was very upset. I had to walk away a couple of times. But you, I mean, you were cool and collected.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because I knew that there were dog shit. Like that. It's kind of like, you know, you're facing someone who's just a piece of shit and is. Here's my assessment. I realized that they were just lying through their, like, Weiss, who I feel like they met before this, and West is like, don't worry, I'll tank. And the entire strategy was, let me gaslight the attempt to gaslight, because I think the governor caught on to this, attempt to gaslight the governor that we were busy, considerate, and acting in good faith. And
Yep.
Weiss straight up lied to his face. He was making up shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I was willing to believe until this meeting, because I know I don't have the kind of background you do, like having talked to people so much before, you know, because they're never around. I was willing to believe that they had, you know, the best intentions, but there were just some misunderstandings. But now it really feels like it's just the justices are just completely obstructionist and want all of the power for themselves.
yeah, it's so pathetic. Like, no one's even, we're not even asking to take their power, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
We're saying
Oh,
be
100%.
around, you know, have penal code match legislation, right? Don't be authoritarian. And they're like, no.
Yep.
No.
Yep. They don't like it.
I don't know. Yeah, I did recognize there was times I wanted to crash out. But I think it was just like, damn. Like, it's like you're looking at a demon in the eyes and you're just like, well, you're a demon. There's no point in, like, trying to,
Yep.
you know,
Still reasoning with people like that.
yeah. But I think the other thing too is I wanted Weiss to talk, because I think it allowed him to, like, deep throat his foot, like, you know what I mean? Not even shoe in mouth. It was like, or jump boot in mouth, I should say. It was like the full gamut. Like,
that's illegal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So-
it was definitely. I was very you know, internally grinning when the governor was like, "Don't talk over me."
Yeah, it's like I said, it was like, you know, it's like you know, the kid that didn't do their homework and they've come up with the most elaborate excuse ever. And you know they're fucking lying, you know? They're like, oh yeah, you know, we thought there was aliens outside and we went outside and oh yeah, by the way, there was like a barbecue, and the barbecue, it had some chicken in it, and before you know it, you're like in like Narnia, right, with the conversation. And what you've done is you've deflected so fucking hard that there's no, like,
Yep.
everyone's interest is gone on the topic.
Oh yeah.
I did try to, I think after you left, or maybe it was a long topic, so you might have been there in the beginning and then it just went for another hour. You know, Weiss said, hey, if you have a problem with the penal code, just talk to us, which already made me want to just, like, strap a bomb to him and, like, kick him down the stairs.
Hey.
Because it's like, what do you think we've been trying to do for, like, 3 months? Like,
Yep.
and can't reach you. And you showed
Yep.
up twice at the beginning of Mumble's term, and you think you've been active, like, and available.
Yeah.
Like, we can't set up meetings with you guys, right? You never show up. We try. I will say, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe that's why the email systems have changed, because now they can't hide, right? because I feel like maybe some of that might have been happening, just truthfully. But
Yep.
I said to him, I'm like, these fines are crippling, folks. What was the methodology? They didn't give one. They couldn't come up with one. They didn't know it. They just
Of
said
course not.
it for 3 weeks. They worked on it really hard, and a lot of different people came in, and it was mostly the clerks that were taking notes. And I'm just like, what is this? I ended it with like, and I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm like, man, do you guys support, like, what are your thoughts on tariffs? Because I'm sure that, you know, there was a lot of work put behind those things.
Oh
But
my
holy
goodness.
fucking shit. Like,
That's crazy, you know. That's crazy.
no, I was serious. I was going to say it while the governor was there too, because that's what it was like reminding me of, right? Like someone being
Yep.
like, we worked really hard on this idea of tariffs. It's great. And we're not backing down no matter what.
Yep.
But
For sure.
so
Yeah, I'm gonna draft some legislation tonight. Maybe just make it like, I don't know, for constitutional amendments. Hopefully that works out. I also thought about maybe drafting a piece of legislation that says I don't have to listen to what the DOJ says. More specifically, because we were talking about the whole like, okay, they don't need case law, they don't need, you know, judicial precedent. They can just legislate that something is or isn't law in the penal code.
only, no, it does need to be a judicial matter. And so I'll tell you what I believe the governor was saying. And this is why
The issue though is that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if this way. I kind of wanted the governor to just say it in like baby words, just so that they could understand it better.
Yep.
But it doesn't. If they think they have the power to legislate no matter what, then they're just gonna do it. And so I was thinking about preempting it. Just in, maybe it's a little bit petty, but I was going to legislate saying that any DOJ legislated change to the penal codes that doesn't have you know, the precedent you know, of case law has to be signed onto by the Blaine County mayor for it to affect Blaine County residents in Blaine County.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. I know that what the governor was saying was more nuanced, and
Yeah,
what he was
but they
trying
don't
to get
understand
at.
nuance.
I'm sorry?
They don't understand nuance.
That's the problem, is that he's answering in full, right? Here is the calculus. They're taking a multivariable calculus and turning it into like one variable, right? And it's like, that's not what he's saying. The moment someone is arrested, it's turning into a judicial matter, right?
Yeah.
And so the content and the context of what's happening can derive legislation. But that doesn't inherently mean that, oh, someone had this on their person during the arrest. Illegal. No. And as he went on to explain, is that you can make it that way by in that legislation explaining out the details.
But even if they do explain out the details in their legislation, they, I don't believe, have the authority to essentially decide legislation that applies to both of our jurisdictions, because we have legislative authority over local laws. So we can change it. Like, we can still say, just like I did with the moonshine, and actually we both did with the moonshine, to be like, actually, you know, it's illegal, but actually it's not illegal now, you know, because we've decided it doesn't make sense for our county.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The nuance is so important, though.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, yeah, we could go and do, I don't know. It's things have. I think they're going to make it more complicated as a consequence of not understanding, and that's what scares me. Is just as we woke up to. I'm sure you've already had this scenario go through your mind. Just as they have this cooked idea that they can, you know, add things to the penal code by poorly reading what was in legislation, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could tomorrow just be like, oh, all these things are now illegal. Now the fines are up another 1,000%. Ha 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 ha. You didn't challenge it.
Right.
Oh my God, Princess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wanna join me in contesting the judicial powers?
I was about to say that during the meeting. I just didn't want to. I thought it would be kind of fun. I was going to be like, I would like to appeal that legislation.
Yes! Let's.
100%.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
100%.
we like fuck it. Let's send it.
Yeah. I was
if they want
talking
to
to
play
Michael
fuck
about
games,
that.
let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I can. I mean, I haven't appealed something before, but
Yeah.
Is there? I assume there's a legislative audit procedure. Is that what it is?
Yep. Yep. I believe so. I mean, look,
Yeah.
they're doing it in bad faith, so fuck them.
Absolutely, yeah. If they're using that, they're really putting a lot of weight on, you know, the word, like, just like with the Constitution, they put so much weight on the word enact and say that, oh, that means that we can do every part of the
No,
legislative
Princess,
process.
I have their comments around the dialogue around that still.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Weiss's comments. That's why when I called him out on it, and he was like, oh yeah, the mayor's like signed it. And I'm like, no, we agreed that meant it's a mechanism, and we said we didn't have to fucking go like 4 sentences deep to explain what that meant, because it was going to be there as a emergency. And
Right.
he went on to say that himself, but it's like, but then why are you saying that you are right in making all these other things illegal? Those aren't bombs. Those aren't emergency cases.
Yeah.
It's not an
And also-
emergency that you found an AK.
Yeah. I also want to point out that they've, you know, put all this work into making all these penal code changes, but they still haven't actually changed any charges on the penal code. So those are still the way that they were before either of us legislated.
Wait, say that again?
All of the moonshine charges, bootlegging, possession, felony possession, and misdemeanor possession of moonshine, are all based
Yeah.
on the law before we changed it. And so now, you know, I believe, I mean, bootlegging, I thought that Murray changed it a while back. Like when I first passed the GAPS Act, I asked him to change those laws. I asked him to change the
Yeah.
charges. And I thought he did, but I think when they changed the penal code, they might have changed it back.
Oh.
So, you know, so much for all of the hard work that they put into it. They're not really doing the things that are actually necessary. Just making
No.
jump boots illegal.
I mean, it took them 6 months to get case law into play. I didn't even get to touch the topic yet that they're adding case law that's not even case law.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just, hey, this thing happened, let's just make up some new shit. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
It makes, I think the depressing thing about it is all these actions make everything 10 times more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's essentially they're so focused on preventing us from doing corrupt things, which makes sense if there's corrupt mayors in place. But they are so focused on preventing us from doing anything that might
Yeah.
possibly go against any, you know, anything ever, that they're just creating a stagnant place in which nothing changes. It's impossible to get anything done. I'm gonna probably just repeal my lumber legislation purely because I don't want to have to deal with them not doing anything else because they can't handle multiple things at once.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I just think that's easier. Plus, you know, it's good to show an example, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. And part of the reason why I didn't want to repeal the legislation is because I put a lot of work into it, and I also thought the name was really cool. But I'm gonna repeal it anyway because putting a lot of work into something doesn't mean that you have the right to just keep it there forever if it's not good.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
how
boy.
government works.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. The whole thing is, you know what I read? I read that entire their position as one big, massive excuse. And that come next week, they're going to be absent again. So all these like hypothetical, oh my God, why aren't you just coming and talking to us and this and that is so bad faith. Like, it's just not going to happen. They're going to be gone.
I almost laughed out loud when McNee left. When he was like, yeah guys, like, can I go now?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a... I will, as soon as I, retire for the night, I'm gonna... I guess I got 2 things to do now. I gotta put my, my bid in to run for mayor again, and then also I'm gonna go try to figure out the appeals process and appeal their...
exactly.
Judicial powers one.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, Princess, I am glad you were there, and I'm glad
Absolutely.
I was glad that you see what we've been dealing with.
For sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost not nice, but it's almost nice to be able to see it firsthand and not have to deal with hearing about everything, but not being able to.
Oh shit. What the fuck?
Did you go underwater?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell. I think that's the only time when the phone says signal lost.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the only time I've noticed it.
Yeah.
But I have some stuff to attend to, so I'm gonna leave you there. As long as you're not, drowning somewhere, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta run through all my transactions and all that shit.
Oh, lovely.
By the way, I did not disagree. I think this is important. The reason why there was one point of what may have seemed like disagreement over, Blaine County and the budgets and da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, I get it.
That was a big topic, and Weiss is not an expert. I don't even think that any of the judiciary is an expert on anything in the city, if I'm going to be honest.
For sure.
Right? They just collect opinion. And the danger I saw in them leading the charge on that conversation
they were harping on it, and I didn't think that, I didn't even think that they, I don't necessarily believe what Weiss believes about, the county system is completely awful. I think it could be fixed.
I think it can be fixed, but even if it was one county, it's more of one of those, like, what's his angle? You know what I mean? Like, just as
he was deflecting.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh, this is the man's been clocked in 11 hours. The fuck does he know? Like,
yeah.
And like time, I wouldn't have a problem if it wasn't thinking you know what you're talking about when you're not around. You know what I mean? It's like that's
totally.
It's anyways.
Yep.
All right. Well, Princess, I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. And
talk to you soon.
Tomorrow, maybe we talk about that appeal.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Oh yeah. All right. You
All
take care.
Toodaloo.
Bye. That is